She took his hand and she led him along that golden beach. Higher and higher and higher they climbed.
Never fight unless you're sure you can win.
They watched the waves tumble over the sand.
All right. 4 strands of rope.
She had all of the skin.
I get kicked out of La Quinta forever.
What do we do with poop?
What is freedom? Are we truly free?
What in the world?
In those Hollywood nights, in those Hollywood hills, she was looking so right in her diamonds and frills.
It's just time, dude.
Just time.
That's right.
Okay.
Opa!
Thanks,
Well,
bye.
no, never mind. Do it again. I think I just saw it. What's up, losers?
You saw some atrocity that
The Greeks had performed?
Greeks?
No, I got excited this morning because I saw that Nick Mullen and Adam Friedland are on Stabby's World today. It came
and
out
so you
this
can't
morning.
say Opa?
Well, that's what he says at the beginning of every Stabby's World podcast,
Yep.
and then it goes fling ding 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 ding. It just plays like Greek music.
Yep.
And I guess I just had that in my head, subconscious. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is today is the day that
This is the day that the Lord has made.
the Lord hath made. If you're reading the old
dude.
words.
We'll get into it.
King
Give 'em the
James,
intro,
brother.
dude.
Hey, down there, all the way down there in the corner, relaxing.
Hey.
Shooting some b-ball outside of school in a beautiful gray hoodie. That's Chris Moody. You
That's
know him.
me.
You love him.
What's up?
Show us your butt, dude.
Oh, I did that this morning, dude. It's crazy. My morning routine.
Hey, hold on, dude. I'm doing the intro. This is Cole Watson right here in a beautiful salmon Carhartt t-shirt. That's
Come
what's
on,
up.
You are so close
Could
to
be
me.
Peach. I'll back up. I'm just trying to look at everyone and see and do the. And I'm doing the intro. Shut up.
He's got thin arm hair, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's wispy.
It's because I've never shaved them.
And this is Zach, Too Close to Me Howard. Dude, back up. This is crazy. I'm TJ Nickerson. We are the beautiful losers.
On to this.
All right,
Chris
whatever.
Moody.
You were showing your butt this morning, you're saying?
Yeah, I was just doing my typical morning routine: coffee, vitamin D,
Ass out.
routine, ass out, cheeks open.
Cheeks flying.
Yeah, but dude, it was wild. So
How's
I was
everything in there?
outside. Oh, it's clean. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. I think the UV rays really do a good job. It's like better than the Tushy, actually. It's
Oh,
better than
really?
a bidet. Yeah.
It's,
I should probably. Do you think it? So I actually examined my butthole.
due west.
I think it was Thursday of last week.
You're examining your buttholes?
Well, no. Well,
No, he's pointing it at something. He's about to tell us where.
yeah. I
Don't
realized that I, in fact, have a hemorrhoid.
He has an hemorrhoid.
He's got a hemorrhoid,
had-
dude. Welcome
had.
to the club.
Past
It
tense.
busted. So
You had a
What the-
hold on. Thrombic hemorrhoid?
Oh, yeah,
I think
thrombic.
that's what they
Yep.
call it.
Is that when they pop?
That's when it's like not a real hemorrhoid. That's more like a blood vessel pops in your booty hole, and then you were
Hey, bleed out.
no. I
And you
think
popped the booty hole vessel?
I was lifting too much weight at the
This is
gym.
what everybody says. They're like, no, I think it was that I wasn't lifting right.
You're moving too
Bro.
much weight, dude. You're pushing through.
No, my shits have been regular. I've been shitting after the gym every single day.
You've been cry shitting, dude. You've been huge protein dump
Pun,
shitting, dude.
pun totally
Regular.
intended, but just in case you thought this pod might get off to a soft opening.
Yeah.
Regular.
Before we got
No.
into the
Yeah.
butthole stuff, it is wide open.
Yeah,
and
oh,
I
yeah.
like it. I like
Honestly,
it. I'm starting
But
to get
anyway,
my
so
I'm
you
glad
had to
it
take a
popped.
look at it.
yeah, I examined it and I couldn't really tell what was going on. I needed a second opinion, but
Nice.
I didn't have that. I didn't have access to
I
that.
definitely got the ones that just never go away.
You could have
know?
asked the internet. Like,
Yeah.
there's got to be a chat room that's just assholesanonymous.com,
Dude.
and then people are like, yeah, that's
That's something.
It's like that original website called ratemypoo.com where people just take pictures of their poop and people would rate it 1 through 10.
Damn.
Probably one of the coolest websites ever built.
That's an
That's
awesome
crazy.
answer to rate. What was it called when we were in high school? There was like rateme.com.
Hot or not.
Hot or not.
Hot or not.
Rate me would be so
Rate.com.
Tell
wait, it's a
somebody
little too
about
close.
Do you guys have
to that Nirvana song. Yeah.
That's neat.
were you guys on the internet when you were like
Dude, I had a
young?
Zynga.
I was on the
Me
internet
too.
when
Hell
it
yeah.
was-
Zynga.
right
I had a
started.
fucking
there was
Zynga, yeah.
There was a website, and I learned a lot of things from this website on accident because like we had a lot of parental controls on the computers,
4chan.
as you would imagine. So I found out for like a brief period of time that the quickest way from point A to point B, because I had these parental controls, was to just find erotic literature. So I was like, that's a great way to bypass these these. I can read. I have a mind or whatever. But
Big fan.
I found this like back and forth website where like younger people would ask a doctor questions, and I learned all kinds of crazy things about what people in 2005 were up to, like 15, 16, 17-year-olds, because they were posting like, is it normal to lay on the hardwood floor and rub my erect penis into the ground
Oh my
for
God.
4 or 5 hours a day?
And then this doctor was just like, yes.
And then
Send me I don't know.
yeah.
Send me a video.
Yeah, right.
And then everyone was like, are we sure this is a doctor?
Are we sure that this
that's
is cool?
exactly what I was just thinking. That's crazy.
But yeah, do you guys have any
Holy
like
shit.
early internet sites that your brain goes to?
The first thing that comes to mind is rotten.com.
Oof.
Oh,
yeah. And it's probably
Horrible.
why I can't look at anything gory or death related. That fucks me up.
I was saved from a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't know who told me to do. Oh, I do know. It was a pastor's son.
Shout him out.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Name and address, please.
No, I will not. Yeah.
It was a test.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's always a pastor's son.
Yeah, dude.
or,
I was like, what is this, man?
or just a kid you're not friends with, but he lives in your neighborhood, and so you're like, yeah, everybody else was busy, and then this kid showed me his dad's porn
Oh
Yeah.
in the woods or
I had a
whatever.
kid like that, dude. You would just come over to my house to sleep over, and then use my parents' computer to watch porn at 2 in the morning.
That's so
And then my
funny.
dad would be like, "What the hell is this?" And I'd be like,
Dude, I was molested by one of those kids.
One of those
"Nice,
fuckers.
yep.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
what they do.
Fuck them.
I'll tell you, I did have a. I was not totally unrelated, except for early internet fun. And this was probably high school, but I was just never that hip to it. It was always other friends that were showing
Sure,
me
sure.
E-Bombs World for the first
Oh,
time.
yeah, E-Bombs
Yeah,
World.
E-Bombs was awesome. And
Flashgames.net.
what was like the redneck cartoons that eventually became like interactive, where you could put a fish in a blender for no reason, or the hamster. or
I remember
the,
Happy Tree Friends.
Yeah, Happy Tree Friends,
Happy Tree
dude.
Friends was fun as hell.
Happy Tree Friends was.
But Happy Tree Friends was like a pretty big, like, I think it started kind of the way that South Park started, where it was like
Yeah.
hand drawn whatever, and then somebody picked it up, because I remember seeing full episodes of Happy Tree Friends on Adult Swim or something.
History of the F word.
That's fun.
Fuck the fucking fuckers.
Yeah. There's obviously 55 and all that fun
55,
stuff.
yeah.
But
Is
one
this
of
is the world?
pretty rounder. Yeah, it's good. But one of the best, and I don't think I've told this story on the pod, but I was telling somebody the other day about. Oh,
Birth control. Fuck,
Golly,
fuck.
dude.
start over.
Shit.
Yeah, 2:30. It's important.
Take out your
Yeah,
butt
I
plug.
had to
Your
call
alarm's
somebody.
going on.
I gotta call a client.
I went over to somebody's house, and it was like a friend of a friend, but we were just hanging out, and they were pretty well off, pretty nice house. It was like one of these kids who had
Big wieners.
like a huge, a whole wing of the house, huge wieners. A whole wing of the house was like them. It was like a drum set, and
Sure,
fucking
sure,
a
sure.
computer, their own family computer. And I'm just
African
like,
American.
whoa, no, great big fat person, and so now skinny. But anyway, he's like, "Do you guys know what chat relay is?" And I was like, "No, I don't know what
I
chat."
do not know what
Oh,
this is.
I think you've
I
told
might have
me
told you
this
about
story.
it. All right, well, I'll tell it. to
I'm
these
unfamiliar
guys.
with
So
chat relay.
was for people with disabilities. So if you were deaf, and you, the like pinnacle of it would be like if you were deaf and you had a blind friend on the other side. It's like obviously it'd be tough just to do chat, and it'd be tough just to talk on the phone. So you go through an operator. So this operator, and I think it was put on by like Bell South. That's how back in the day this shit was. And I think for a little while, maybe AT&T picked it up after.
They're like, we can still salvage this.
So, but now obviously, I think it may still be going, but you don't need a physical person to operate it. Just be AI. It's like I'll say it to the deaf person, and I'll type it out to the. Switch that.
So it's basically just a switch relay for deaf people to get on a chat room board or whatever. But you said it's like a human being.
So there's back in the day there had to be a physical person telling this, and so he was like, it's the most fun to prank the operator. So I'll type in your phone number, your cell phone, and then I'll use my computer, and then I'll tell them that you're blind. So then they just have to say whatever I type to you. And it was like, all right, cool. You know, this is when not every phone was texting that great or whatever.
2013.
Yeah. I think it was probably 06 or 07. So it was still a little bit mixed before everybody had the smartness in their pocket. So then, of course, because we're kids, we would just like get on there and type out disgusting, sexually explicit stuff in the hopes that either this operator would say it into the phone or hang up. So like that was the fun part, was like riding the line. And then you try to hit him with a story. You're like, I'm trying to talk to my wife who's impaired in this way, and we haven't seen each other in months. I've been overseas on work, and so like this is how we exchange.
I'm deaf as hell.
So,
and
like,
my wife is blind.
Yeah, I'm deaf and my wife is blind, and we're trying not to make kids. So then you just like give them some fucked up backstory so that they'd be like, all right, and just see how far you could take it and try to find the line. And then if they hung up, they're like, all right, enough's enough.
Susan. How I miss your blind ass.
I'm touching my butthole right now, like Stevie Wonder reading
stroking my thick ass deaf guy.
Yeah,
thinking about your blind ass pussy.
And we probably did it for 3 hours and had like 10 different operators who were like, all right, I can't do it. I make $10 an hour at a shit call center. I'm not
facilitating this sex between disabled people.
So fun.
It was awesome.
Hell yeah.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Yeah.
You could never do it.
But that it takes away from, like, prank calling was all. Have I told you guys this story? And I'll give up the floor here after this because I know I've been hogging it.
Kang.
But one of my favorite prank call stories is a buddy of mine named Mustard. Shout him out.
Mustard.
He did, and I knew he was going to.
Name of Matt, but goes by Mustard. Has off and on been a professional Sasquatch researcher. He's the man. And a genuine, I can't talk. English is hard on Mondays. Why are we podcasting? Anyway, he's a very hilarious person. And he told me about this story where he prank called. He grew up in Helen, so he's like prank calling all these people in Helen when he'd get bored. And one of his things that he went to is he's just calling everybody in the phone book that he was like, I'm pretty sure they live in this town. And he'd go, hey, man, you got to come over here and get your dog.
I think you've told this story
Me and my
before,
wife just had a baby, and your dog's outside my house making a bunch of noise going through our trash can trying to get poopy diapers. This dog's obsessed with poopy diapers. So he goes down, and he's waking people up in the middle of the night, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm going back to sleep. He gets an array of things. And finally, this dude who's clearly not asleep picks up, hello. And he's like, hey, he gives him the whole spiel. Right. And then at the end, he goes, hey, ain't my dog? I know the dog you're talking about answers to the name of Hugh. And Matt said he fucking lost his mind and started laughing so loud and had to hang up the phone. So he probably told me that story 10 years ago. The first time I ever hung out with Mustard. And me and my other friend who introduced us have been saying answers to the name of Hugh about just anything.
Answers to the name of Hugh is pretty incredible.
It's so good.
That sounds like a dog who like owns his own property. You know what I mean? Like he is his own.
Yeah, I know the dog you're looking for.
Hey, ain't my dog?
Lives at 3 Pine Lake Drive.
It's the dog that's in the center of like the painting of the dogs playing poker.
Yeah.
They're all smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, that's Hugh.
That's Hugh.
They're at Hugh's house. He hosts.
It's like, so I saw it's not his name.
No.
He just answers. That is the best thing about Southern phrases is there's like a poetry to everything that like if you have been living in the mountains or living in some rural area of Georgia or the Carolinas or whatever for long enough, you have a dictionary of like incredible phrases. And so answers to the name of Hugh and obviously Hugh being very much
That's
just
the name of my grandfather.
British person. Hugh Grant.
That's the name of my grandfather, dude.
I think one of my favorite sayings is "ain't no count."
I don't even know that one.
So like if something like my dad says it all the time. If he watches a movie and it's bad, he would say, "Man, I watched that movie. Ain't no count."
But what does it mean?
It means it's a bad movie.
No, I mean, context-wise, I understand that, but
So
what's
it's expression just for a bad movie.
what's the etymology?
I don't know.
What's the
It doesn't count for
symbology?
anything.
Here's what I'll tell you.
So
That's-
it's just taking off as
Here's
many
what I'll
words
tell
as
you.
possible.
Yeah.
Cole does this thing.
Getting the essence.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
And he may be right here, and I may be the dumbass. So Google it. But
All right.
I think we've learned from 37 episodes, 36 episodes. Cole's family does a lot of things that they don't make a lot of.
Their
They don't make
own
it.
way.
It's just their own thing that they do.
They're painting
They've
their
got
own
their
picture.
own.
That's true.
Ain't no count.
This could be true.
That's
Ain't
your
no
dad.
count.
Ain't no count. Your dad would say
I
that
would be
right
curious if this is an extended thing, or if this is the South, or it is just the Watson clan being
Yeah.
like, we've got our thing.
We've got our
Dude,
own
that very well could be it.
Because my favorite, when I do this, I call my kids this. My dad called me this. I guess it came down from my grandmother, but buddy roll.
Okay.
Call people buddy roll.
I don't know what that is.
BUDDYROLL. Buddy roll.
Yeah, I get it.
Hey, buddy, roll.
My dad
That's
would do.
definitely a thing.
Oh, wait. Well, I've heard bud row.
Yeah.
That's probably the
that
same
could be the
thing.
shorthand of that.
That's your family.
That's what my family says, but hey, bud roll.
Bud roll.
But row. Yeah. My old boss.
Yeah,
at the
hey, buddy roll. This is an informal term. It's a slang term.
Wow, your family really says the whole thing. Well, it's like a,
You dumbass. Your family speaks full English.
You'll fucking never get all that time back.
We were so poor, we didn't even use all the letters.
Well, I know this is pretty universal in the South.
Ain't no count.
Right away. He's got the right away.
Yeah.
Instead of right of way.
Right of way. Yeah, I mean that's just
Well, that's just for
that's
dumb
just
people.
quick.
Yeah.
I mean I'd say he's got the right of
Well,
way.
yeah, I've in my 20s when I realized it's not right away, it's right of way.
Hitting that F in the middle
Used to.
is nerd stuff.
Used to is a good one.
Sure, yeah. I mean now we're starting.
Twice?
We might get into some Jeff Foxworthy
Have
here
you
if we're
have
not
you
careful.
have you heard of
You're peeing on my boot.
You're a peeing on a 16-year-old R. Kelly.
some of my family says
Jeff
twice?
Foxworthy just started getting nuts in the next 5 years.
I'll tell you who's European. R. Kelly's European.
I said that twice.
Twice is fun.
Twice.
Yeah. I love that movie Twicester. All right.
All right.
Fuck off.
We try.
We tried.
Man, dude, I really appreciate you guys picking up the slack, dude. I hate the hard shift, but I can feel my fucking brain throbbing, dude. I took a massive loss this morning, dude. A huge L.
Your parlay?
A blow to the brain, dude. I took one to the dome this morning.
Like you got hit in the head.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about it.
I got laid out, dude.
What?
Yeah, it was
Physically or mentally?
Physically. Annihilate. I made Chris Benoit my whole family. This head injury was
you're
so
CTE,
bad.
dude.
I'm completely CTE'd up, and I can feel it in my mind now. But this morning I was helping Taylor with the kids, and if it makes sense, the nursery room that the youngest one is in, the door is sort of catty-cornered, so it's almost like the room is square, but the door is at like this sort of angle that's against the square.
Sure, and if it doesn't make sense, it's the CTE.
It's the CT.
Yeah.
So, and then the changing table is up against like a totally squared off wall. So that door was open.
Sure.
Right? And I was standing next to the changing table, and I guess the distance at which I was away from the door. I didn't factor that in because I'm not in that room a lot, and I turned around and was probably this far away from the thin side of the door that was open, and as hard as I could, I slammed into the door, dude. Rattled my teeth. Totally like laid. I was like crying on the ground.
Which part hit first?
Jeez, dude.
I just hit the door just like this.
Split your ass in half, dude.
Just fucking right in the nose, right in the fucking
hot dog style.
Taylor was in there. The first thing I fell to the ground and she went, and I was like,
that's how he dies.
Dude, when I do dishes, if
you can see it,
it's
Yeah.
my dishwasher is right underneath some of the cabinets that I need access to.
Yeah.
And I have so many times bent down to pick up a plate and
come
just
straight up on it.
Fucking
Wait.
Same with those.
Door open.
Welcome to the
Have
club.
you done door open where you take the bottom corner?
yeah, just taking it straight to the crown.
This is starting to make our podcast make a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of brain injuries.
Bunch of head injury Harrys on this couch.
It makes me want to take a shit just thinking about getting hit in the head that hard. It just it's like from the top of the head, it's just like I feel like everything just needs to leave.
Cole wants to take a thrombic shit.
Yeah.
Very thrombic.
I gotta purify myself.
This is one of the crazy. Have you guys ever been around somebody who's taken one to the dome and then forgotten everything?
No, like a temp
So
amnesia thing?
I played
Foosball.
flag football after high school, and in one of these flag football games we had this, and I had seen it in regular football a couple of times where like somebody will just get absolutely blown out, and the first question everybody always asks is, do you know where you are? Right. And I've seen somebody answer that question, no.
Nice.
And that, the subsequent, 15, 20 minutes after that is crazy. So we were playing flag football. This kid gets laid out. We pull him off to the side. Hey, man, do you know what's going on? He's like, no. Acting totally normal. Like, do you know your name? He's like, nope. Like, do you know what you were doing here? He's like, no clue, dude. He's like, do you know any of these people? He's like, nah, man. And we were just like, for 20 minutes, we were like, hey, man, just don't go to sleep. You know?
Right,
we had to call an ambulance.
That was the thought back in the day.
It's such a weird thing to just you get hit, you get bonked so hard that for 20 minutes you're just like, I don't remember nothing.
I've had something ish like that, but I didn't get hit in the head. It was when I played football. I dove and tackled this kid, and his cleats went into my gut and up and pushed every ounce of air out of my lungs so fast that I didn't understand what the fuck was happening.
Oh, you got the bends.
Is that what that is?
Well, the Benz is obviously a cool Radiohead record, but it's also divers talk about it, where if you don't do the right thing and you come up from down deep and the air repressurizes, you can die from it. But the medium version is you get the bends and you're like, what the fuck is going on? You're super.
Yeah, I just I remember rolling over like a fucking like I was on fire. Like I just
just
was
continuously
so
rolling down the field.
No, back and forth. I was like,
Ricky Bobby.
And I just
the worst feeling ever.
And I'm like, did I hit somebody? What happened?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever really had the.
It's just a
severe confusion after an injury.
I've done it to people. I've in football.
The Patrice Bieber, you shouldn't have let him out here with killers.
Yeah. I think about
Zach
it.
was that guy.
Well, I think about it a lot. I was at a funeral the other day with a bunch of old football friends, and it was the first time.
And you hit him with a U.
And you over my buddy's dead.
Over his dead. It's not how you say it. Go up.
What are you saying? Dead? My buddy's dead? What did I say wrong?
Dead death?
Dead dad is what I said.
Oh,
dead dad. You dumbass. Learn how to hear.
I thought you said, my buddy's
Do we need
dead.
to pull up
I'm deaf.
what's it called?
Yeah, pull up chat relay.
Chat relay?
Tell me on the relay.
But I recounted this story about how you got to keep your head on a swivel, and the second to last game I ever played we were beating the fuck out of this team from like Kansas or something. It was like a national tournament. We were up like 70 points or something.
Yeah, they got to the game on the short bus, though. It's not that big of a deal.
And they threw an interception, and we were housing it, right? This is like 100-yard interception touchdown, and I am nowhere near this play. I have not been involved in this play. I should not be anywhere near this play, and I see this fucking fat kid just slow trotting down the sidelines. Great big fat person. And I go, I'm about to fuck this kid up, dude.
Oh my
and
God.
probably from like 60 yards away, to like the total circumference, I came across this kid just
Blindside.
just blindsided this kid.
Rage.
They had to call an ambulance.
Oh my
The whole
gosh,
night.
you're psycho, dude.
I mean, like full body. I laid my body out.
Who did, was it Golden Tate did that to somebody?
Yeah.
And they had beef until that dude retired.
Yeah, I killed this kid.
Was anybody just like, why?
Oh, I mean, I started a fight. Like, I mean, it
Yeah,
was
of
it was
course.
crazy. Like, we were beating the crap out of this team. I was totally uncalled for. I think back on it, and I was like, why did I?
You should reach out.
Like, what is the purpose of that? But
Probably a
anyway,
vegetable now.
so then no. So he was
His life
fine.
wasn't
They
the
got
same.
him. They got
That's
him
okay,
back
because
up and
Zach's a
running.
fruit.
It's actually not a great story.
Actually, you shouldn't
Sorry?
admit that.
They got him back up and running, and I saw him because we were all staying in the same place.
They hit him with assaults.
They didn't even take him to the hospital. He was fat enough. He just collapsed him. He was really shaken up.
Oh,
and
he's
as
just
far as I
tired.
know, he hasn't killed anybody.
He was a Varsity Blues type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking of not another teen movie. Billy Ray.
Billy Ray.
But yeah. Anyway.
But it shook him up, and it did concuss him up pretty bad, and he forgot where he was. And that I saw him like 2 days later in the breakfast hall or whatever, and I went up to him and was like, "Hey, man." My bad.
My
dude."
bad.
And he just turned to me and he was like, "I don't ever get to play football again. Thanks, dude." Because he was
Nice.
he was a senior.
Oh.
And they had one more game, and
And he was bad. Not
Dang,
because
dude.
not because the doctor was like, yeah, you can't.
he only had one more game of high school football, and I fucked this fat kid up.
Dude, you ended that man's career.
It ended his career,
Yeah.
dude. I think about that still to this day.
Wild, dude.
I got his jersey hanging on my wall in my office.
That and this kid who beat me. There was this one kid who beat me down pretty bad, and he pancake blocked me, and I was on the ground. I was like, "Fucking!" And then he extended his hand as a sign of sportsmanship, and I fucking slapped it out of his hand, or slapped it out of whatever.
Slapped his hand out of
Slapped
his
his
hand.
hand out of the air,
Yeah.
and he was, "Hey man, hey 52, let me tell you something. Jesus loves you, man."
Incredible.
And I went, "Yeah, well, he doesn't fucking love you, dumbass." And
Damn.
then I hopped back up and then tried to kick that guy in the nuts.
Jeez.
All this
A
dumb-
rageful person.
I was like 16.
This makes
so much
every
sense.
bit of sense.
All this don't be
Yeah.
sis stuff is a pure
It's born out of a
It's
lot of
projection
shit.
of
projection.
Sith.
I've been Sith.
I done been sick,
Coming
dude.
from the Sith, don't
The Sith
be it.
Lord
Yeah.
himself.
I think I told the time I got ejected, right?
Yeah,
I told
yeah.
that on the podcast. I mean, yeah, this is just my high school was just. I mean, for being a homeschool kid, what did I have to be? I mean,
That is fair.
like
you didn't
7 people I knew.
understand how society works.
I'm sure Seth, your brother Seth,
Shout him out, Seth, my brother.
I'm sure he appreciated just somebody else catching this hell.
Well, Seth, like, he grew up, with silver spoon. Mom and dad were just, everybody was like, praise God.
But you weren't whooping
He's
his
normal.
ass sometimes?
Not once he got a little bigger.
Oh,
Well, once Seth was cool enough to hang out with, we were homies.
that's tight. Moody, I feel like you haven't told us about your more early internet, dude.
Oh, yeah,
I feel
sorry,
like,
we just-
I feel like Moody's got some freak show stuff.
Yeah.
You don't get to a decade of hate.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about a time that I knocked myself out, though.
Oh.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I was-
CTE yourself?
I did, yeah. It probably explains a lot with my head. I still have the scar on it. I was 2, and my sister, who was 7, we were playing tag in our house in Florida while we were being babysat, and I chased her into a room, and she just slammed the door behind her, and the doorknob just came right into my head. And I fell out.
To
I
catch-
woke up like an hour later, and I was like all happy. I just felt like elated for some reason, and my babysitter had me sitting up on like the counter in the kitchen, and she was just crying, and I was like, oh, why is she crying? Like, I'm confused. And then like the blood started going down my face.
Oh, you were bonked so
and then I
hard.
like touched my face and I saw blood, and then I started crying.
Yeah, man.
And they had to go staple my head up.
That's-
So
I bonked my baby brother pretty good. My dad had a tennis ball hanging from the rafters in the basement because we have an unfinished basement.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And he had that set up to where I could go down there and I could practice swinging the bat and hitting the ball for baseball.
Jesus Christ.
And my brother was he was in the way, dude, and I bonked him. I mean, like, ding!
Because it was first.
Yeah. But I mean, you saw him first though. Like,
No,
you mean
he was behind me. He was like back here.
Oh, I thought you meant like he was in the way, and you're like, I'm still hitting.
No,
this
so I
thing.
I swung through the ball, and then on the backswing, just ding!
I fucked up my brother. You remember those like old Atlanta Braves mini bats?
Oh
like,
yeah, the little wooden bats.
I remember he upset me one time when I was a little kid, and I just waited until he was playing video games, and I just came up. Yeah. Oh no, I did try to kill my brother. Like I chased him with knives.
Yeah.
There was like stab holes on. Like I remember one time. I don't really remember this. This is just what I was told. I tried to stab him, and his best friend was there. He was like, "Hey man, you really could like kill your brother. Like you could like
And
really
you're like
hurt him."
way younger.
Oh, I
17,
I'm like
18.
3 or 4.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's like 15 or 16.
No, he's 14.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You'd have to
and
say
I was like,
so
I just didn't even consider that. I was like, oh, you're right. So I left. I come back 20 minutes later with a slingshot and a handful of rocks, and I was like, "Is this better?"
David and Goliath.
And sort of it is, but also.
And yeah, he was like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah, we're backing you down slowly
Dude, I haven't
from
thought
a
about that in a very long time. I was disturbed as a child. I had a lot of anger, but I also was like the youngest, and I got my ass beat all the fucking time.
It's tough being the youngest, man.
That's crazy. I was disturbed. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, Seth had a lot. I mean, me and Seth fought when we were very young, a lot. And there's one time I can remember he came down. I was downstairs doing something, and then he came downstairs and he wanted to do whatever I was doing, and I was like, "Nah, dude, buzz off." And then he just went and got a pair of needle nose pliers. And then he just like ran downstairs and then just like threw them at me and hit me square like in the top of the head, needle nose
First.
like here, and like cut my fucking head up.
Oh, jeez.
Got up and whooped his ass, dude.
Damn, dude.
Alright.
Yeah, I feel like I'm,
You know what changed my brother? This is what changed my brother. I met my high school best friend, who was a big fella, real great big fat person who I love dearly.
great big pepper.
And for a whole day, Mike just sat on him.
That's so funny.
Just sat on him for like
Oh,
8 hours.
Yeah.
Just for like a whole day sat on. He was like, "You're being a dick. You're being a." He was like 12.
Was
or
he on
13.
a couch or was he on the floor?
It was we were double. It was a double scrimmage game. It was outside.
So he's in the grass.
So he's in the grass, and we had to play back-to-back scrimmage games.
Caught between a mic and a hard
And
place.
literally, Mike had graduated high school or wasn't playing or something, and just pinned my brother on the ground for like 6 or 7 hours.
That's so long just to sit.
This is. I actually have to take this phone call. 1 second.
Let it rip.
Literally, absolutely, I think changed the course of my brother's life. I think he realized then and there, he was like, I have to stop, or big people will pin me on the ground for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'll be powerless.
Did you guys ever play this game when you were younger? We used to do this in my buddy's unfinished basement. He had an older brother who was like 3 or 4 years older than us, and we turned off all the lights and it was pitch black. And the older brother would pretend he was a vampire, and then he would try to come chase us and bite our necks.
Jesus Christ. And then
in the pitch black.
And then, unfortunately, we slayed him. I had a wooden stake, and we slayed him. No, I never played vampires, I don't think.
One day, Mark, the younger brother, got really mad at him and just double bounced him on the trampoline real high, and he fell off the trampoline and broke his knee. So he couldn't play vampire anymore.
Dude, I got so lucky on a trampoline because that was big.
Bro, I broke my cousin's arm on the trampoline.
He did.
But
I was just talking. Taylor's got the boys jumping on a trampoline. Somebody in our community has a trampoline. I was like, this is a death trap.
Now they all.
Well, does it have the net?
Have a net.
Okay, that's not too bad.
This did not have a net. I caught it secondhand. It had like some of the spring. Obviously, just spent all day, every day outside.
You just
so
tramp.
some of the springs had rust by the time it was no longer tramp season in my life. But my favorite activity would just be like Discman with Kid Rock CDs
hell yeah.
and just tramping.
Just tramp.
all
Yeah, I did a lot of that.
Yeah.
Just
Hell
get
yeah.
out there with the, and it would
Yeah.
you would hold. I would have to hold my CD player
Oh yeah, because it would skip though.
because it would skip. So I'd have to hold it like horizontal.
Like a sandwich.
Horizontal, and jump. So it wouldn't
hamburger
skip.
style.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. But
You
I
got
would,
hit hot dog style.
Yeah,
You had to
took a
hit
hot
the
dog.
Discman hamburger style.
Okay.
I would take a skateboard deck with no stuff on it and try to like cut
That's
Tony Hawk Pro
best.
Skater type flips. That was awesome.
Hell yeah.
But then I got it in my head. I always had the block where I couldn't do a backflip because I was afraid I was just gonna break
Yes.
my neck. But I would try to cut like double front flips and stuff.
Nice.
And I definitely tried. One of the neighborhood homies who was younger was over, and I tried to cut this big ass front flip from one side of the trampoline to the other, which was a big mistake, and landed perfectly between like
spring.
both legs, either side of a spring, and was just like,
The trick.
Luckily, I was a young enough man.
The trick to doing
walking off.
backflips on the trampoline, it doesn't look pretty, but
Yeah.
it's just to get the feeling for it. But you jump, and then the third jump, you try to kick the sky.
Yeah.
And with the momentum of you throwing your
You
fucking
will
heels up,
flip.
you will flip.
Okay.
It's just the way it works.
Yeah, I always that would have been great because I was always trying to start with like a full body extension flip instead because
Yeah.
I wanted it to
I
look sick,
still-
and then I'd be like halfway
Yeah.
through and go, no, oh no.
Yeah.
I can still only do it. It's like I learned just with one. I learned how to do a backflip on the trampoline, and I'm still scared to do it. But by
it's
by kicking
nothing.
one leg up
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
That's
doing a
good too.
gainer.
and not
Oh, that's
really
tight.
jumping.
Oh, you're doing
Yeah,
a gainer.
yeah,
So I would
Yeah.
just stand and sort of like rock the one leg,
okay.
and then
Yeah.
sort of worked that into
Yeah.
like a motion.
Oh, dude,
There you
I
go.
still have all those bag of tricks in my pocket.
But
Nice.
Let's go out there and tear some ACL after the podcast.
boy, I tell you, that's how I hurt my back.
Oh no.
Yeah.
33 years old, that's how I hurt my back. Your little scared story, though, reminded me of a pretty great thing that we used to
Scared
do.
story?
Where you talk about your buddy used to, whoever came down, your scared story.
Oh yeah, the vampire story.
vampire
Oh,
story,
vampire
sorry.
in the pitch black.
This guy's
Would-
not even listening, dude.
I was listening when we were
I'm
in,
I wasn't even there.
I'm a very forgettable person.
when we were in high school.
I was gone.
I know. You weren't even here, and he's like, "It was you were to the right of
You were
me."
talking about
Basically.
Yeah, Chris doesn't
I'll just
really.
That's why he thought it was you though, because
Very-
it was the closest person to it.
I'm like tapioca pudding. It's like you can take it or leave it. Kind of thing.
No, you make this podcast. Without you, this podcast
I have
is
never
not-
been a
we've
tapioca dog.
We have to return.
That's
to
pretty good, actually.
All right, so your scared story.
So anyway,
You're
we
li-
used to do this thing.
You also diminished it. Your little scared story. That reminded me of a cool.
Yeah, you
It's so
fucking-
forgettable.
That reminded me of a story
It's
where
so
I was
good.
cool. Let me rip it off real fast.
Yeah, great story. Here's my version of
If we
it.
could spend the next however long on this pod just not letting Zach tell this story, what a prank that would be. All right, sorry, dude.
No, it's good, dude.
No. Don't say that. Say it into the mic.
Hold on.
It's all totally good. No, it's
Ten
good.
toes
It's
in
good,
when you're
dude.
standing on business, dude.
Business. You scared?
Your little scared story
So then I was scared, you know.
Scared straight.
Fuck you guys, dude. We used to play Manhunt in high school.
Classic.
And I live on like my parents.
Dude, I'd still play
Parents
that
live on
fucking
a
game.
big, huge fucking plot of land that is all connected at the time in high school, was all connected to my family's land. So we could play Manhunt over like 20 or 30 acres of like residential property, but like big open area, right?
That's cool.
And we would play full tackle Manhunt.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so the goal was sort of we split everybody up into two teams, and then one team would basically go out and hide. The other team would do the typical Manhunt thing, but it was more like get back to base. I guess that's sort of the way Manhunt,
home base. Yeah,
kind of thing. So you'd have to leave some people out in the yard to defend home base to keep people from getting out to base.
Sort of a capture the flag, manhunty.
One time we probably had like 20 people in the yard, and there's a lady who lives in front of my parents. She just like used to live up there. She just rented this house, and she had come home from work and seen all these people in the yard, and she had like a Dodge van, like an old school 70s van, and she ripped her van after us in the yard. She chased us down.
It was just the one lady that
She was just
wasn't in your family.
and like driving
What the
through my
hell?
parents' yard, like chasing us down.
That's awesome.
It was crazy.
That's insane.
And then she was like, I got out of the car, and I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
And we're like,
yeah, dude.
It's me, lady.
You know me.
The original border control, baby.
Yeah.
Against the
And then
immigrants.
she was
That's
just
like
like,
basically-
I'm so sorry.
Oh, look, it's some
Yeah.
kids. Let's play ice. That's
What's that? Oh, look, there's some kids. Let me kill them.
Yeah, that's
run
right.
Let me kill them with my car.
Run these kids over.
What was her goal?
To kill us,
Yeah,
I
that's
guess. I
crazy.
don't know.
She just saw red. She was blindside blocking shit.
saw 20 kids in a yard and was like, I gotta do
That
this.
is the craziest response to have.
Insane.
She could have just put
Chased us down.
She's
Chased
been
us through the yard.
abducted before, probably.
Dude.
She,
Yeah,
she
there's
saw the
definitely-
small
It was
grays.
crazy.
Some sort of
She saw the small
PTSD at
grays,
work,
dude.
dude.
That's
She called
insane.
my mom the next day and apologized. She was very upset.
She should have brought you a fucking edible arrangement. That's insane.
I was just like,
Could you imagine she shows up with a bunch of fruit
Could
shaped
you
like
imagine
flowers?
she killed one of my friends?
Yeah, right. That's
And then your mom had to explain to their mom.
She killed one of the guys I work with at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then went to you at his funeral.
Dude, dying. Yeah, then we have to you at his funeral. Dying playing Manhunt as a kid though is like Spartan. That's dying on coming home on your
Yeah,
shield.
you go to Valhalla if you do that.
Yeah, you come
Yeah.
home on your backpack.
For sure.
That's you go to Kid Valhalla.
But full tackle manhunt
That's
in the
awesome.
dark at night.
Yeah, that's
right,
great.
Is just a wild.
She thought you guys were starting a cult.
Yeah, like I mean, 20 people. You know, it's like, what do you think is happening?
It couldn't be kids just playing.
A revolution. Yeah.
Someone is orchestrating a huge robbery.
Manhunt is
Pretty
so fucking fun.
disorganized.
What if you're in the what's your go-to hiding spot? Obviously, it depends on the location, but like, what are you looking for? Are you trying to get in
Sight. I'm looking for sight. I'm going
Cave.
somewhere where I can see.
If I'm in the woods, yeah, I'm probably trying to scurry up a tree.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely in
Somewhere
a tree.
high.
But because Manhunt's fun because it was hide and seek extended, right? So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just because you found me don't mean you got me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You still
Right.
got to get.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm less concerned. I don't mean to brag here on our podcast on the internet, but I was the what was the it was like a competitor to Chuck E. Cheese, but it was more about like
CC's?
being smart.
Oh.
So they had a big play zone. It was
Discovery Zone? Not Discovery
I think
Zone. Was it
Discovery
Discovery
Zone.
Zone?
Like
yeah.
you could buy like it looked like a football, but it was a soft foam brain. Like that was part of the.
I think
I
that's
think it was
it.
Discovery
Yeah, I
Zone.
think
So
it was Discovery Zone.
it was like. It was like the that cool museum in Chattanooga for kids or whatever,
Yes.
mixed with a shitty
Yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Right, exactly.
But so they had
Yeah.
like a hide and seek championship. Quick aside, and your boy was the champion. I think nobody found me for like 3 hours. So if we're playing
14 days.
14 days, they had to call the SWAT in to get me out there to SWAT their own
He
children.
had built a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, TJ.
Fortified
He built
my
a false
position.
wall.
He Homer Simpsoned himself
He was
into
hanging
the ball
animal
pit.
pelts.
He was just
Yeah.
eating liquid cheese out of a cage.
I was eating smaller kids who have been lost and never found.
Don't go into the ball pit.
If I'm just hide and seeking, then the hiding place becomes more important. But
Yeah,
if you're a
right.
manhunt, and especially like at 12, I was probably 5'11".
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, now you got to tackle me, or
Yeah,
now you
yeah.
got to catch
Yeah.
me.
That was definitely part of it.
Because growing up in the suburbs, I was one of the faster kids. You know, it's like I could get away from you
Well, I tell you, I was slow
or
as
stiff
shit.
armed.
And I've always been this way, man. Great gravitational center in my body, dude. Great,
I like that.
great. I'm hard to knock off my center of gravity.
Low center.
Low center of gravity.
Yeah.
You know
Good
what I'm
center
saying?
of gravity.
That's what you're saying.
So
That's what you were trying to say.
I mean, just, I don't
Golly.
have to be too smart for you guys.
you ain't got to worry about that, big dog. We'll find you. We'll find you and tackle you.
I was hard to tackle, though. That was my big thing. I
That's
was
it.
hard to bring down.
Well, it's
So,
sheer will.
I was just fucking huge.
I'm a big guy.
Yeah,
There's
that's
nothing
true.
better than somebody being like, I found you, and you're like, now you gotta get me.
Get
And then
me, dumbass.
You hit them with a Derrick Henry style stiff arm, and their kids
I
like,
broke a kid's arm playing Manhunt,
Oh my
doing exactly.
gosh.
He came at me sideways.
Oh,
He
here we
came-
go. Another story where you hurt somebody.
Came at me over here.
Golly.
And I just whoop.
Zach was
Broke
the
his arm,
bad,
dude.
bad Leroy Brown of his friend group.
Dude.
It's like one time me and my buddies went up to Indian seats and I just pushed him
I
off the
fucking
cliff.
drop kicked him off the
shit out of
cliff
it.
and I
just
killed
pushed
him.
him straight
One
off the
time,
rocks.
this kid looked at me sideways and I shot him.
There is a lot. There is a common theme.
There was this one time this kid was at the ice cream truck and I went and slammed his fucking head off the counter so I could get my ice cream first.
Let me just put a blanket statement out here.
I make kids' heads look like basketballs.
Let me just tell you. Let me quick tell you guys all my stories. I was bad.
I was a bad kid.
I did a bad thing.
You're a reformed asshole or whatever.
Yeah. Somebody did a good thing, and then there was a bad thing that happened, and then that was because of me.
I do feel like mine was relatively balanced, but that could be trying to like rose-colored glass the past. Because it's like I remember I had a friend who freaked out and hit me in the back with a PVC pipe, and I was like running as he got me, and I was like, "Oh, that stung so bad." But I also do remember the homie that lived across the street, her little brother. We picked on him so bad, and for some reason we thought it'd be funny. She had like this plastic pole, like it was not even as sturdy as a broomstick, and we decided we were gonna play like the native tribe has captured one, and we duct taped his hands and feet to this pole and carried him on the pole on our shoulders like we were Ewoks. We were like,
That's amazing.
Bro, I had a really bad anger problem when I was a kid.
I know you tried to kill your brother.
Yeah.
Not 15 minutes ago.
I'm not saying that I'm perfectly innocent.
Little Cole had a leather jacket and a butterfly.
Dude, we were playing. Like I remember, I was at my cousin's house and we were playing like a dirt clod war, and I got hit with a dirt clod that had a fucking rock in it, and I got so mad, and I picked up a stick and started beating the fuck out of everybody I could see with this stick. I would just spaz. I would have awful spazzes, and then like once I started hanging out with like other kids that weren't like family, some other kid got really mad and spazzed out. And I was like, dude, that's fucking crazy. And one of my friends was like, dude, you do that.
You do that all the time.
And I'm like, wait, that's what it looks like when I get mad? And that was my first like,
Dude, that's a little brother thing. That's a little brother thing. I was playing street hockey in my old neighborhood, and I was playing with the guy that was my age, and he had a little brother, and we were down in this cul-de-sac, and his house is at the top of the hill. His little brother comes out and tells him to get inside to go to dinner, and Steven, the guy I was playing with, was like, no. And his little brother was like, you could see him at the top of the hill get really pissed. Like, he just like had anger issues. He goes up, Steven's like, and shooting shots on the goal. Andrew literally just takes a rock, it was impressive actually. I don't know how you do this. He threw it from the top of the hill, a rock probably the size of my fist, hits Steven directly on the back of the head and cracks his skull open. I had to take my skates off and like take my sock off and like put it on the back of his head.
Ew, dude.
I swear to God. Yeah, I was like, dude, he's bleeding. He had like roller skates on and shit.
You're cutting heel dressing tourniquets out of sweaty hockey socks instead of just getting his pants.
His mom had to drag him up the hill, put like that butterfly thing on the back of his head and shit. It was crazy, dude.
That's crazy. You said that.
Brain back in.
I don't know how he did it. There's like a rage force to this Sith behavior where it's like, how the fuck did this little kid just manage all of his will into the back of his head?
I'll tell you what it is. I think I figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
Most Sith behavior, it's little brother behavior.
Yeah, that's true.
This is all little brother behavior.
Well, you can only catch it for so long.
I hurt a lot of people, but it wasn't because I was spazzing. And I was mean, but I wasn't mean in like a spazzing way. I was
calculated.
I was a bully.
Yeah, you were just a bad person.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't spazz on people. I didn't hurt people. I didn't want to hurt people on purpose. I wanted to be mean to people sometimes, but I certainly didn't want to hurt anybody. And the people I did hurt was primarily on accident until I got to high school.
You were Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
Yeah, right. I was a big fat retarded person.
Great big fat retarded.
Speaking of little brother spazzes, I was jumping on the trampoline with my cousin, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I have some candy. Do you want some candy?" And I was like, "Absolutely."
Is he your fan?
No. We were. I was like 4 or 5, and he was. He was
29.
He was a year younger than me, so whatever the time frame was.
Sure.
So he went inside, came back, and handed me like a whole like giant bag of like it wasn't a giant bag. It was like the little sweet tart things.
Sure.
And I grabbed it. I was like, there's There's nothing in it. You tricked me. And I drop kicked him off the trampoline.
This is what I'm saying.
And he broke his arm.
And then he broke his arm. And that was on purpose.
Fuck your sweet
I was playing Manhunt and broke a kid's arm
No,
on
he
accident.
just saw red and fucking Bruce Lee drop kicked his guy.
It was like
Somebody
I
wants
wasn't
to kill
trying
me.
to. I didn't want to hurt him, but he hurt my feelings. And I was like, I'm gonna make you feel on the outside the way you make me feel on the inside.
That's
You
such
were
a classic
one-
prank too, to be like, want some candy?
Yeah,
And when you're kids, it's not your dick in the bag. It's just nothing.
It's just nothing.
You were one dead animal away from just Jeffrey Dahmering out, dude.
No, dude, I loved animals. I didn't want to hurt
That's what I'm
them.
saying, though. If you would come across like a dead cat
But
in
sometimes
the woods,
people
that
just
you-
love animals too much.
You put your hands inside
and
of it
then
or something?
they discover you try to climb inside like Star Wars.
Yeah, some adult men love children too much too. So
Have you guys ever played this game?
Some adult ladies love children too
Which
much,
takes
too.
us to our
Yeah, but
first
they-
sponsor. No.
better call
Worse
Saul.
health.
Worsehealth.com.
Going outside.
Moody,
Does your life suck? Go the fuck outside, dumbass.
It's worse out there.
Put your phone down, idiot.
Have you guys ever played this game where like you go into the bathroom with a Ziploc bag and then you
Already, I'm out.
like a big one, and then you shit in the bag, and then you water that down, like you water the shit down, you make like a soup with it, and then you put that in a super soaker, and then you spray poop water on people.
What the fuck?
Dude,
Have
you're
you ever
talking
done
about
that?
a poopy Glock. That's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
a pink eye pistol, dude. What
Have you
the
ever-
fuck?
No, that's
Have you guys,
Ebola.
have
and
you
they
guys
fucking-
ever gone into the bathroom with 2 pieces of white bread, and then you actually
Shit
take a shit on the
Hit 'em
white
with-
bread, and then you leave that shit sandwich in the stairwell of a La Quinta Inn in Florida in Daytona Beach,
And watches
and then
the
you let
homeless.
it, and then you let it fester over a course of a week, and then it smells, and then somebody has to come and clean it up.
Nope.
Okay.
Damn, there's gotta be a
That was a
good...
perfect
Somebody's done it.
That was a perfect time for
I
a
did.
yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, it's crazy to hit him with the dang hepatitis gun.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Nuts.
I
Fucking
was
Dookie Glock,
innocently-
Dookie cannon, bro.
I
That's
was
You might be
crazy.
the reason we had that Ebola outbreak at Whitewater when we were kids, dude. Is that you? You shit shit
that really
cannons at
happened.
people.
The problem is the super soaker gets clogged up after a while.
Yeah.
It's not exactly.
Yeah, you gotta make sure
not
the poop
foolproof.
Is, you gotta make sure the poop
Peanuts.
is thin.
Yeah, and then you can't really use the
Nuts.
super soaker again. So.
It's clogged.
Yeah.
Yucky.
I don't mean
That's
I
yuck.
don't mean to be corny, but all right.
Oh,
Disgusting.
Damn,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
You did that?
Both of those things. Yeah. It was pretty
Whoa,
good.
dude.
Both those
It was
things.
with the same person too. Me and this person. Dude.
You guys still uptight?
But
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also found that we filmed this kid. He climbed up this tree, and we just filmed him. He like pulled his pants down and he just crapped, and we just filmed him crapping from the tree down to the ground.
Now that's funny.
Yeah, that's a fun time.
That's just harmless
Dude,
insanity.
yeah.
that's fucking
The
flippy.
poopy sandwich though. I just wanted to see who came by it and been like, really? Like somebody made him shit.
I never did poop dollar, but that always seemed like a fun prank to hit somebody with a poop dollar.
Yeah.
I don't
Because
like.
I'm not picking. Yeah, that's the problem. Is poop's gross, but I'm not.
That's not.
If I see
that's
a-
good. That's what. That's normal.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Because I get,
Yeah, you're right. That's the problem. It's a funny way to
But-
do it.
Exactly
That's the
right.
problem.
Yeah.
But-
that's
but
hit the nail on the
like
head.
the sandwich is funny, but the work it takes to make the sandwich is gross.
Yeah. It had
and
tissue paper in
No,
it, too.
almost nobody is desperate enough to pick up a sandwich on a stairwell at the La Quinta.
No.
But you put a $20 bill, roll
Yeah.
that up like a shitty piece of sushi.
Yeah.
Somebody might need a 20 and then just be like, oh,
That's
what
hilarious.
the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Because they're not gonna eat it.
Until they find out where the smell is coming from, because the entire like 10-floor stairwell at the La Quinta just smelled like
Oh
shit.
yeah, he
And then they're like,
rises.
oh, it's coming from this sandwich. It must be rotten. And then they like peel open the top layer of white bread.
Well, it's insane
just so
because all it takes is one human shit to make an entire zone smell god
Oh
awful.
yeah.
Listen, I don't want to be insensitive, but I was in the bathroom the other day with one of the unhoused.
Okay.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, yo, I got to get out of here, dude. This is crazy, dude. I forgot
Oh, that was the QT, right?
how much people can smell
Oh yeah.
over a period
No
of
doubt about
time. It's
that.
like, golly, dude. This guy smelled so bad, I couldn't be 5 feet from him.
That's-
you know what I'm saying?
that
I
does
couldn't
stink.
even be in the same place as him. It was hurting my eyes.
It's important to remember the human potential, dude.
Yeah.
It can go both ways.
It's like, golly, dude.
We have a capacity for stinking.
That's not stinky. You can be a stinky person.
You can stink it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope that guy's well.
I do too, but it's like you hit the shower, hit the sink.
Hit the sink for a while. Well,
You
he
know?
might,
Hit the
Showers.
sink.
he might after you left.
dude.
Who knows?
That's true. That's true.
Is
He's
this
probably waiting for you to leave so he could wash up.
That's right.
He's probably jorking his hog.
Wash up. Well, you
Jorking.
kill 2 birds.
That's probably what was going on. All the powerful pheromones.
What the hell?
Tell me, hard cut, but that probably is enough doo-doo talk.
I was talking homeless pheromones.
No, you can always hitch a ride on a car going through a car wash when you're homeless.
That's true.
That's true.
Just jump
Yeah,
on
hit
top.
the-
You
hit the
guys
car
cool if
wash.
I jump on top?
Yeah, it gets on the
That's a
windshield.
good
You know those
program.
guys that like pre-wash your car with the scrubbers?
Yeah.
You know, in the beginning, he just gets on the windshield. You're like,
Yeah.
oh no, get him too. And
Get-
he's just get naked on top of
Get
the
my boy.
the windshield.
Get out there.
Get in that crack. Yep.
Get out
Yep,
there.
You gotta get in there.
Just-
you gotta get in.
you end up at a
so funny.
at an off ramp off the highway, and then somebody's like, "You got any money?" And you're like, "No, but I am about to run to the car wash."
Yeah, you want to hit it up
on
with
top?
me.
That's a
It's
good
free
program.
ride. Yeah.
I think it would be funny if you were homeless to take yourself to the self-wash car wash and then give yourself like a suicide wash.
Damn.
Just hit yourself with the power sprayer.
Yeah, oh, yeah, dude.
That's wild.
That would be cool.
Suicide wash. You gotta hold it way out here because the damn thing's just low.
I will
Oh,
say
yeah.
that it might be a good thing for society to just have the human-sized car wash, where it's just like
Yeah, why
anybody.
not?
If you get bad,
They do in other places. They just have public baths.
well,
Yeah,
a
that's true.
bathhouse could get pretty gnarly.
Well, yeah, but
You need this thing to keep moving.
for people who, yeah, but I mean, if you need it, you know.
If you need, if you need, what to be nominated? Is this a thing that somebody has said before?
Probably. A lot of people talk.
A lot of people be talking. I was thinking about because we brought up accidentally Regis Philbin.
Yeah.
What we were trying to say, or no, sorry, we brought up Pat Sajak accidentally
Pat Sajak.
when we meant to bring up Regis
Regis
Philbin
Philbin.
to give him a
You.
because it was we were
You was talking about last week.
we were running last week we were running down the Good Answer show and we gave a moment of silence, MOS.
To Regis.
But I was thinking about this morning that spawned the idea of why, when Regis died, to keep Who Wants to Be a Millionaire going, didn't they just replace him with Bernie Sanders, who has a similar voice?
Ooh.
But then at the end of the show, if you win and become a millionaire, he's like,
He
shame on you.
Yeah, that'd be
Who
awesome.
wants to be a millionaire?
And then
That's
he
right.
kills you with a gun.
Then at the end, he's like,
Okie dokie.
No, and then he
You
takes
asked
half
for
of it
this.
and is like, that's perfectly fair.
yeah, he takes
Yeah.
all the money and gives it to healthcare or something.
Yeah.
I think that could be cool. Who wants to be a billionaire?
You're sleeping in the bed you make.
Bernie Sanders
You asked for this.
just starts shooting people on live TV. Give way to some sort of like Running Man-esque dystopian television.
This is
Somebody's got to hit him with the
Hokey
Thorazine
dokey.
dart.
it's getting wild.
Yeah.
10% of 55%. Yeah, I like it. You think it could be fun?
Well, especially if he kills him at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
I mean,
cool.
we are game show producers. We could maybe make it happen.
I mean, contrary to popular opinion, I don't like the rich. I think it'd be funny to kill them.
So, were there whispers on the internet that you might like the
I
rich?
just don't know. I mean, I just
That's
put
like
that out in the
basically the game Saw. You know what I mean?
Oh,
With
yeah, it
Bernie
turns into
Sanders.
Saw at the end. Bernie Sanders
It's
just saw
There's no
billionaire.
winning. Yeah, he's like, if you win, I blow up.
Here's
this
the thing.
entire
Episode
studio.
2 is going to be a tough sell.
Yeah.
You know, that guy in the contestant's chair is just like, Bernie, I'm gonna be honest with you, dog.
A little nervous here. I might throw a couple questions.
I don't think I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to stop at 125.
He's like,
They
Great
film-
idea.
They film like multiple
getting
episodes.
close. Yeah.
So like
The
he's still
questions
like
just get
bloodstained.
easier and easier.
Yeah.
and his finger just gets itchier and itchier. He's like, now that I've tasted human blood, I can't stop. I wrote these questions myself. What two colors is purple a combination of colors?
This is the best show. I mean, this is the best.
It's what people want.
Just if yeah. It is what people want.
It's what
If you
the
could
people
give people a show where Bernie Sanders tricks regular people into winning money and then kills them.
Becomes billionaires on the TV show, then takes all the money and shoots.
That would probably heal this country.
He gives it back to the people. That would create
and
a
then he gives-
bloodthirsty crowd
then
because
he's-
everybody would want them to win.
Yeah.
So he would kill them
Every time
and get the money.
Exactly. Every
Yeah.
time he kills somebody, he cuts every person in America a check for like 80 cents.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. That would rule.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
so you like the idea is what you're saying.
I mean, I don't see. All I see is
That's good.
upside.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I can't see a negative.
That's
But also,
really-
every time he kills somebody, he just, for some reason, gets more jacked. Like, he gets younger and just
He gets
stronger.
younger.
He gets more muscles.
Younger.
He's just
Now
like a Hulk Bernie by the end of it.
We're getting into the realm of fantasy. It's going to be tough to execute this from a sections.
Inject him with peptides.
Right.
Just, yeah.
Peptides,
Yeah.
testosterone.
No, we get him.
Because killing people
steroids.
wasn't.
Yeah,
no.
I don't know how to get a hold of
That happens every
adrenochrome.
day.
I'm unfamiliar with the process of acquiring adrenochrome.
One of our executive producers would just have to be that guy who's like taking his son's blood and stuff and
I'm
trying to
keeping
stay
my son's blood.
trying to stay young forever. You know what I'm talking
You
about?
trying to give my son's
Yeah.
blood to
What's-
Bernie Sanders?
What's that? No, no,
What?
no. We inject Bernie Sanders with young people blood,
But not my son.
and then he just starts getting younger.
want
Every
my-
episode. No.
Any of my
This
good
is
Republican
falling
son's
apart.
blood.
This should have ended.
This show's tough, dude. We still got a couple of kinks to work out,
Yeah.
but we'll get there.
This should have ended.
Yeah, well, you know. What about this, dude? No, I don't have anything, I don't think.
I'll stop drinking energy drinks this week.
That is pretty cool.
I've been driving in silence.
Ooh. It's either good or psychosis.
Yeah, I'm
Little brother
wavering.
Sith behavior, perhaps?
No.
I couldn't hear the songs over my screaming anyway. Just driving down the road. Ah!
Depends on what you're doing with that silence. If you're grabbing, it depends on how hard you're grabbing the steering
Are you doing
wheel,
the
I
deep
think.
work? Are you meditating while you're...
Most of the time, yes, and then there's other times where I just arrive somewhere and I'm like, how'd I get here?
Full disassociation.
That's not as good.
Fully just like, I don't even remember how I...
I hope all those
Got you.
lights were green. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I've
hope I
definitely
didn't...
done that, but just because it
She
was
did that the other
warm
day.
out.
TJ the other day, he texted me, or he was headed to my house or something, and he was like, "You know that light
Oh.
up at the thing?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I just ran that, like had to dodge 2 cars from getting T-boned."
It was the first time in my whole life that I had like full on ran a red light.
yeah, just in the middle of traffic.
It was like rush hour almost, and in Swanee, and I was just
it's your car, so I know what every person in the
everyone's like,
Chrysler like, who is this?
what the?
See some guy looks like Sasquatch in a Chrysler 300 going 70 through a red
I
light.
wasn't even going like I was going normal speed, but by the time I sort of barely caught that it was red, and by the time it registered, I don't remember if I was like tired or just worn out or like I'm sure I was just like thinking about something stupid like who wants to be a billionaire, but I just went oh no, and I looked to my left and it was totally like a life flashes before your eyes, but they caught me, so they slowed down and honked, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to sorry everybody who was turning left who ended up next to me. I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. It was not good,
Yep. So
but
don't be doing that.
the Lord spared me, so
You're talking about maybe you were getting into the word of our Lord and Savior, that you were perhaps cracking open the biblical
checking out the Bible.
I have.
Yeah.
I've been reading some
Tell us
scriptures.
what the Bible's been teaching you.
What did it say, dude?
Man, you just gotta believe.
You
You just gotta have imperfect faith is in fact perfect faith.
Made perfect.
Wow.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
I've been getting
dude.
really into the Lighthouse. Is that the Mormon one, or is
Yeah,
that Jehovah's
that's
I
Witness?
thought you were
Jehovah's
talking about
Witness.
that god awful William Defoe movie.
That was a cool movie. Get out of here.
I
with
haven't
that.
seen that yet, but I would watch that.
Get out of here, Rana.
I love Willem Dafoe, dude.
Willem. William.
I've been getting into blue cheese dressing.
Yes.
Homemade.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's
homemade.
cool.
Big batches of blue cheese.
Would
Homemade
you-
blue cheese dressing.
Would you tell the internet your recipe, or are you trying to hold it close to
Oh
the
no!
vest?
Equal parts sour cream, mayonnaise, salt, pepper, 1 whole lemon, 2 cans of 8-ounce blue cheese crumble.
Toucan Sam.
Toucan Sam, nice.
Yeah, salt
You
and
don't,
pepper.
you don't
Toucan
cheese
salmon.
your, you don't blue your own cheese.
Parsley. Oh, I blew it. Yeah.
You got to blue your own.
I blew my cheese.
I blew my cheese before I came.
Yeah, I blew it.
Blue my cheese.
Yeah, I blew my own cheese.
That's
Dude.
pretty good. BLEW. Blew my cheese.
Yeah, thanks for spelling it. Darn.
You can have other people blow your cheese for you, but I typically blow
I haven't
my
had
own.
somebody blew my cheese in a
blew
while.
Hey, did you
my
call
own
me a
cheese.
dumbass?
Yeah, dude, but I'm sorry. It was just for
I'm
the
not
pod.
left hand. Whoa, get your freak ass
Dude, my freaky
Frankenstein thumb out of here, dude.
It's
Yeah,
healing,
that's a
dude.
sick-
Nature is
I'll
healing.
throw
like
up all
that.
over you. He just wants this podcast to end,
Cole's
and
got
I
it.
Yeah,
There
I
we
have to
go.
piss so bad,
Yeah, it could
and it's
be.
like I feel like it's about to end,
I
and I
got
feel like
20
I'm
more
come back.
minutes, dude.
I still no.
I got 20 more minutes of me beating up kids in high school.
Yeah, I know.
This one-
This podcast has just been story time with these retards.
Yeah, it's
Fine, dude. That's all this
Us
podcast
retards,
is. Dude.
I'm in-
What are
I'm
we supposed to
included.
do? We're supposed to do this for forever. At some point in time, it's,
I also will
we're
say.
gonna run out of things to talk about.
Oh, I did have another idea. You guys tell me what you think about this. We start making. I mean, I hate to contribute to this particular community, but if we started making pornographic parodies of Pixar movies and stuff,
Okay.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah,
I think the first one would obviously have to be How to Run a Train on Your Dragon 2.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2. It
Not
starts
even
at
half.
2.
We'll
Yeah.
Start with 2. Yeah, we'll
We
start
don't
with
even
2.
have the first
That's
one,
amazing.
dude.
We'll start with 2.
Dude, none of this matters though. There's fucking pillars underneath the pyramid.
Oh my
yeah,
god,
There's
dude,
pillars
there's under the
there's
pyramid.
There's pillars underneath the
And at
pyramid.
least according to the light penetrating LiDAR,
The LiDAR, yeah.
It don't lie,
looks
dude.
pretty coily.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't
I saw a fucking video, and again, who knows?
Yeah, of course.
We nobody's been down there.
Of course,
and-
there's already been what's his name, the dude who was beefing with Graham Hancock
Yeah,
forever. He was
yeah.
like bullshit.
The sickest thing you guys and then keep going. The sickest thing you guys need to do right now is get the image of that where they like pan down from the pyramid and then to
Yeah.
the pillars. But then we create a video where it pans even further and then there's just a big ass dragon underneath the pillars.
Now we're
Hell
talking.
yeah,
Put that
dude.
in, Zach.
All right, I'll
That was
Go
me
ahead.
reminding you through the screen. Dude.
there was a video that I saw that if you go from the top of the pyramid to the bottom, it looks like there's like 2 chambers at the bottom. That's sort of what it looks like. That is
I counted 36. Back from the 36 chambers.
Hey!
Wu-Tang for life. dude.
Wu-Tang forever. That is the same size as the Burj Khalifa.
Oh yeah, they were saying it's tall, like it's
as-
deeper
as-
than
it's as-
the Burj Khalifa is tall.
Yeah.
And
It's nuts.
and I mean, again, who knows? But
Of course.
they appear to spiral, right? So some people are saying like this is the staircase. Like you can walk down to the bottom, and there are 2 halls down there. Somebody said the halls of Amantia.
Excuse me?
The halls of Amantia.
Oh,
Pretty
maybe.
crazy.
There's some sacred knowledge down there.
That would be interesting. Hey, Cole, are you hip to this new LiDAR discovery that or ground penetrating radar or whatever they use to see that there's like big ass pillars underneath the pyramids in Giza?
Yeah, I thought there was like a meme back in like 2017 that showed the pyramids and that they were actually giant obelisks.
Oh yeah, this is just
Yeah.
the tip.
Yeah, it's like
That and look,
Also
maybe
pretty
not,
cool.
but it's
Maybe.
starting to look kind of
Also
like
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know
I mean-
about the spiral stairs because like that would be cool, but obviously it also sort of looks like a Tesla
Yeah,
coil.
it does, yeah.
Which would be nuts because then homeboy that's been talking about the pyramids are fucking power power plants forever.
Yeah,
he's
dude.
like he's probably
He's like,
so
nailed
hard.
it.
He's
Hard as
harder than
rock.
an obelisk.
Oh my
right
God,
now.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I guess the question is just like anything, because there's apparently a chamber underneath the Sphinx and all these other. But
Right.
like, what are we gonna do? We have this information out. We're gonna dig the pyramids
Well,
out. Like,
unfortunately, the government in Egypt is
yeah,
never. Gonna
They're not
let
gonna
that
do
happen.
Egypt's
anything.
gonna
They're
get
just gonna be
overthrown.
like, cool.
Egypt's
Which-
going to be overthrown.
To their credit, it is obviously it's fun having some mystery, and it's like you want somebody to be like, we want to protect these.
Somebody
once told me the
world was macaroni.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I just like we'll never know. Probably.
Oh, somebody once told me the world is full of homies. What's up?
Hey,
Oh, homies,
Yeah,
homies.
dude. Yeah, dude.
Dude,
That's tight.
Is lava just dragon poop?
Could be throw up.
That's sick.
Could be chum.
Damn.
Could be dragon chum.
Is lava and magma synonymous? Are they different?
I think I remember asking this question in some random science class. or something. Or maybe Pierce Brosnan explained it on
Magma.
the movie Dante's Peak.
Magma.
A very scientifically backed movie, Dante's Peak. And I feel like magma might be flowing and lava is in a pool or something. It might be something as dumb as that, but I could Google it.
But the floor is lava.
The floor is lava. So
That one Pokemon that was made out of lava, how do you think that he found love, dude? Must have been tough to be physically close to other people.
Yeah.
Being completely made out of lava.
Machamp, dude.
Well, if you
is,
can't-
Machamp.
Being a weird duck made out of lava.
you just have to find a Pokemon who's hard enough to handle.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Geodude.
We could end on the difference between lava
Or
and magma.
what is Wheezy? What is it's just gas?
I believe he answers to Hugh.
He answers to you.
That's pretty
Callbacks
good.
by any
That was
means
pretty good.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
The
man.
difference.
That's crazy.
That didn't get the pop it deserved, but I love you guys.
It was cool.
We're going to end on the difference between magma and lava.
Oh, okay.
Just so we learned something today.
Yeah.
So we can send the people home with some.
Gosh, that's
golly.
America,
I have
dude.
so many calls I have to make. You have no idea.
The key difference between magma and lava is location. Magma is molten rock between the Earth's surface, while
Magma's
lava
in the north and lava's in the south.
right, it's the Confederates in the while lava is molten rock that has erupted onto Earth's surface. Okay, so I wasn't close, but I'll take it.
So
That's awesome.
which one's racist? The southern is it magma?
We'll talk about it all.
Hey, we got to go, dude. I'm going to blow these guys' cheese real quick.
Blew my cheese.
Bye.
Bye.